Read Battle Nexus, starring the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is a weekly event series that is comparable in plot idea to Marvel's Secret Wars or DC's Convergences. That is how it was sold to me, and that was all I needed to know to be down for it. We have a cover here with the four turtles ganning up against four enemies from different TMNT continuities. Worlds collide. There's a lot of that going on lately. Here are our credits. Writing and plotting are handled by a who's who of IDW Turtles comics. We have Tom Waltz, who has been involved with writing and scripting the Turtles ever since IDW got the license. We have Paul Allor, who has written multiple spin-off minis and some cartoon tie-ins. Sophie Campbell, who had a long run on the title from issue 101 to 150. She also did artwork for it before that and before she transitioned, so you might know her under her ad name. We have Caleb Goellner. I think he's best known for writing another animated show tie-in comic. And then finally we have Erik Burnham, who writes Saturday Morning Adventures, which I collect, and who has written many other Turtles books. I want to take a moment here to point out, take notice of who isn't involved, who they didn't invite to this table. The artwork for the story is by Esau and Isaac Escorza. They too have TMNT credentials, the main one probably being The Last Ronin, of which Tom Waltz also co-wrote with Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. Outside of space and time, we have a gladiator arena, a cosmic entertainment. And here we see a Triceraton, and we find out this contest of champions is overseen by Lord Simultaneous. I only know the name as part of Renette's backstory. Renette is a time-travelling ally to the Turtles, and I believe Lord Simultaneous was the king of Renette's time. She stole his scepter, I know that. I mainly think of him as like a floating head. I think he appears in that story as a floating head. If this is an unhelpful section of the video, stay around. We'll talk more about that issue soon, but I just wanted to get my barely functional knowledge of Lord Simultaneous out there. And the Triceratons, I won't even bother explaining. They were one of the first things the Turtles ever battled. Our featured Turtles, or our main Turtles, are the IDW continuity. These are the Turtles from Tom Waltz and Sophie Campbell's runs. And here they are fighting Bebop and Rocksteady. It is an introductory villain takedown scene, and it is quite good for that. I don't feel like Rocksteady or Bebop are jobbing too hard for the sake of setting up our heroes. Let me also be upfront about another knowledge gap. I am not very familiar with the IDW continuity. I have read issues, but they are completely random. They are whatever have been included in the best of one-shots, which I have all of. I think they've stopped doing them. IDW, from what I understand, had a very deep Turtles universe. Bebop and Rocksteady even had their own minis. There's also the elephant in the room, which I have already brought up. The 2024 relaunch, 2024, which was maybe a reboot. IDW got the ackiest of acky acts to take over and reinvent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He gave up after 12 issues, like a true auteur. But at least he gave us great ideas, like Splinter is now a dead rat that Leonardo carries around and thinks is talking to him. And Donatello was raped at Jeffrey Epstein's parties. Par for the course for that writer. Don't recommend anything he has ever written, and I have no desire to look at his Turtles comics. I'm glad they stopped doing the best of one-shots if there was a threat of one of his 12 issues finding their way into one of them. In the middle of their fight with Bebop and Rocksteady, the Turtles are teleported away. They are sucked off into a time porthole. And here is a page of them falling through time. They're like some kind of turtles in time. They are deposited in one of the Colosseums we saw at the start of the issue. And we and they meet Ninjara. Ninjara is a Japanese fox ninja. She is being introduced here. This is the debut of her in the IDW continuity. But Ninjara originates from none other than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. She was a new character created for the Archie series, and she never really made much appearances outside of that. Her creators, Dean Clarane, Steve Murphy, and Chris Allen, they took the character and did some more adult-oriented Ninjara solo stories, completely separate from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles brand. I did like seeing her here. I've always been a big advocate for the Archie Adventures series. Ninjara has always been a valid character for TMNT mythology. We have seen some stuff from that comic absorbed into the Turtles overall, and I think it's long past due for Ninjara. She has the makings of a worthwhile, prominent supporting character, and here we see that she is more than capable of holding her own in a fight with the quartet. Now though, we learn that the hands behind this kidnapping of the heroes are none other than the hands of the right despicable Cervantes Romero. He was a villain from the 8th issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Renette one with Lord Simultaneous. It is also known as the Dave Sim one, or also the issue where I stopped reading the original series. Cervantes Romero is a tyrannical wizard king. He is named after Tom Savini and George Romero because in that original story he had an army of zombies under his command. Like Lord Simultaneous, he's probably mostly known as being part of the backstory of Renette, who is a semi-frequent ally to the Turtles. Child grooming pedo Dave Sim was involved with that issue, and so it had his self-insert Advark Incorporated. But Dave Sim independently published Cerebus for so long. You've got to respect that. Yeah, and my uncle's been a lollipop lady for 11 years. That doesn't mean I have to respect him. Donatello asks where Renette is. He expects her to be tied up in this. And she is. She is literally tied up in this. But before we get an answer to that, Cervantes Romero explains Battle Nexus, which I might as well call Battle World to save time. You all know what Battle World is. Battle Nexus is kind of that, except instead of Beyond a Man, there's Cervantes Romero, and he is participating in a competition, one of the Battle Nexus tournaments, and he is also trying to overthrow the Time Council that rule over Battle Nexus. Cervantes Romero is kind of like Mr. Doom, and the Time Council or Beyond a Man. That's a better comparison. And here is Renette. Renette is a bimbo. She is a time-travelling bimbo. That is her shtick. And she is Cervantes Romero's prisoner here. Cervantes Romero's champions that the Turtles must fight include Slash, the 5th turtle, or one of the characters that could be considered the 5th turtle. This is Slash from the IDW continuity. His character has a long history within the IDW comics. Our first arena combat won't be against him, but instead, original Mirage Shredder. Leonardo has to fight the original Shredder from the early Turtles comics, and he is in black and white. I took this page to be somewhat of a reference to the famous splash page of him from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 10. That was when he returned. A very loose reference, but I think that it is paying some lip service to that. So we have set up our plot in issue 1, and issue 2 is going to have Leo fight OG Shredder. It is IDW, so we get a covers gallery. There is the regular cover, which is by interior artists Esau and Isaac Escorza. There's one by Mateus Santaluco. That is the guy who drew that Level Legion series at Marvel. The one where Mr. Hind kept buggering everyone. And last, but not least, is our Saturday morning adventures style variant by Dan Shawning. This is Og, Mr. Og. He's like Mr. Mixie Pitlick. He is in a lot of Saturday morning adventures. He was only in one episode of the cartoon, but they really have reinvented him as, well, he's just full on Mr. Mixie Pitlick. If you're going to rip off anything, you might as well rip off Superman. And right at the back, after some adverts, and you've got to turn it sideways to read it, we have got Erik Burnham, Sarah Myer, one-pager where Mr. Og sets up his intention of having various different versions of the Turtles fight each other, which I think a lot of people were hoping the main story of Battle Nexus would be. This is setup. It is an issue of setup. It is set up for something that should be fun. Maybe the amount of writers working on it is a cause for concern to you, but I think it's more to do with celebration than it is a requirement. It's like an all-star cast of IDW TMNT publishing. I am hopeful that this will be a fun story. As long as Donatello isn't raped by Jeffrey Epstein, I'll give it 7 thumbs up.